Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, a veteran in this channel, welcome back for yet another exciting episode of Risk, Money and Insurance. And so today, guys, judging from of course the title of the video, we are going to be talking about, should you be, saving or actually paying off your debts? And mind you, contents of this video do not constitute as financial advice. If you do need financial advice, please contact a financial advisor that is registered with the FSCA, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority in South Africa. And if you're in other countries, definitely seek the advice of a financial advisor. But I'm here today to just express my thoughts because this is something that has been on my mind quite lately, given where we are and the fact that they're suspecting that the interest rates are going to be hiked by 50 basis points. And man, it's tough. I keep going back to this thing and I'm like, it's really a tough economy. And I was just confronted with, the thought of, should I be paying off my debts or should I actually be saving right now? And I'm just going to give you guys a couple of cents in terms of what I think, my own opinion, and some of the considerations that I'm putting in my thinking as I go about my finances. But if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button below. Don't forget to also click the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post a new video, which will be on a Thursday at 7 p.m., which sometimes is becoming a Friday at 7 a.m. depending on, whether we're able to do things on time or not. But I am striving for, just releasing videos on Thursdays at 7 p.m. as you are winding down to just go through the content and learn one or two things. But most importantly, let's keep the conversation going right in the comment section. So should you be, paying off your debts or saving? Because I think it's one, especially when times are tough, it is that one decision that we have to make. And the reason why I'm raising this or starting this conversation is because, let's be honest, right? If you have any form of debt right now, especially if you have a debt that has got a variable interest rate, meaning that the interest rate changes as the prime rate or the repo rate changes, then you are definitely feeling the pressure, right? From just having that interest rate hike. Like when they hike the interest rate, your installment is going up and you are definitely feeling the pressure because 2 years ago, during the pandemic, we were cruising nicely with the repo rate being like 3.5%. But now what we're seeing is this. It's going up like this every single quarter. And it's said that there's more hikes to come because the government fears inflation. So looking at that, what I concluded was that, first of all, you need to build an emergency fund. And I did a video on emergency funds. I will link it in the description box to say I did a video on emergency funds surrounding like what are emergency funds and how do you go about setting up one. But in a nutshell, an emergency fund is a form of self-insurance. So you are insuring yourself against emergencies that may arise, right? So for example, you are insuring yourself against, should you be involved in an accident and you need an excess, right, for your insurer to pay out whatever claim amount you have. So you're saving for that purpose, or it happens that back at home they need assistance with something, so you definitely need to be, to have money set aside outside of your normal budget or normal month-to-month expenses. You need money set aside for emergencies. So I thought, given the different types of savings that we have, it is definitely important to make sure that you have like an emergency fund. And we normally say your emergency fund should cover 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, right? Depending on, of course, how much your expenses are and all those different factors. And in this situation or like in this climate, it's important because borrowing is becoming really, really expensive because of the high interest rates. So if you are to rely on credit, you will definitely feel the hefty price of relying on credit because interest rates are high. So in my thinking around should you be saving or should you be paying off your debts, I thought at least make sure that you have an emergency fund that is in place. That is like the bare minimum, right? To say, make sure that you have enough. Maybe if it's not like 3 months worth of expenses, you can just say like have a month worth of expenses that is set, right? And after you've done that, after you can pay off like your month worth of expenses using your savings, then you can start attacking your debts. And how you would go about attacking your debt is you attack the ones that are most expensive. What do we mean by the most expensive debts? We mean the debts that have high interest rate. So for example, you have a bond, you have a car, you also have say a credit card. Out of the three, your credit card is actually the most expensive line of credit because the interest rate on your credit card may be over 20%. So it makes sense that if you have a bond and a car, your bond will be the least expensive in terms of interest rates. Your car, depending on how you finance your car, may be more or less you may be more or less being charged the same interest rate on your car with your bond, but your bond will normally be like the least expensive because it's a longer term kind of loan. So looking at it from that perspective and looking at the kind of economy that we're in, definitely go attack your credit card first, because credit cards are expensive, and in as much as we love them, we appreciate them, that they can help you out in terms of just cash flow management and all of that, there's a danger that you might end up relying on your credit too much. And I remember when I got my young professionals account, it comes with, I guess, a credit facility over there. And what I realized was that at first I was using it to, of course, build my credit score and all of that, but at this point in time I don't need to use it to build my credit score is already fine. I've got different lines of credit that are set up and all of that. And what I've been monitoring intensely is how much of that credit facility am I using on a monthly basis? Because I have this thing where I'm like, okay, I know my payday is coming up. Let me just fill up on petrol, buy groceries before payday so that I don't have to deal with the traffic around payday and all of that. That's fine because, I can, when I get money, I can immediately pay it back within the grace period, which for some credit cards, the grace period might be a month or the grace period might be 3 months, for example. So that is okay. You're not really paying interest on that particular, money that you borrowed. But the important thing is to always remember that with a credit card, it's not your money. Whatever money that you will use, you have to pay it back. And I always monitor my use to say, I don't want to find myself in a situation where I'm going out with friends and I'm financing my going out using, the credit facility that I have on my young professionals account. Because then that becomes a trap. What you essentially do is you are eating away from, your next salary. Because that money is not yours. The bank will want its money back. So you are eating away from your next salary. And if you continue to eat away from your next salary, it means that you will constantly owe the bank money. And that's not nice. It's not a nice position to be in where your salary comes in, your expenses are chowing away, everything, your expenses are chowing away your salary, your credit card is also chowing away your salary. Now for you to leave until the next payday, you need to rely on your credit card. It's not a good place to be. So because your credit card is the most expensive line of credit that you have, and in this economic environment, when interest rates are just continuously increasing, it is better to tackle that first. That is my opinion, to say tackle that one first, get it out of the way. And with an emergency fund, how that will help in that situation is that should an emergency arise, instead of you relying on your credit card, which is essentially eating away from your next salary or your next income, it's the fact that you now have savings that are set aside specifically for emergencies. So you now stop relying on debt or credit, because credit is expensive at this point in time. And another thing would be then to say, if you are able to knock off your credit card and all of that, then you can go on to like knock on the other forms of credit that you have, like your apartment bond or like your house bond. You can also knock off, your car as well and all of that. And we had a very interesting conversation with my sister. I was with her over the weekend. We had this conversation to say, should you pay off your car first or your apartment first, right? And her and I have, I'd say, I don't know if she managed to convince me. It's still something that I'm thinking about to say, I don't know if I agree with her or what, but her philosophy is with, do you pay off your car or do you pay off your bond first? She's of the view that you should try to pay off your bond first. With the car, it's a depreciating asset. So you might put on all your cash, right, into this car. And after like 6 years, not really 6 years, because it's going to be, you're going to pay it quickly. But like after 6 years or whatever, or like 8 years or whatnot, you might need to replace your car because it's a depreciating asset. The cost of maintaining your car may be higher than actually the cost of buying a brand new car. So she's like, with such an asset that is depreciating over time, for her, it doesn't make sense to actually pay off your car first if you have like a mortgage, right? And I was like, okay, I agree with the line of thinking. But if you're using the same rationale that, pay off the debt that is most expensive, of course, I would lean towards, if your car is actually more expensive in terms of credit versus like your bond or whatever, then I'd rather tackle the one that's most expensive. And after tackling the one that's most expensive, say for example, your bond is costing you like 7K a month and your car is costing you like 6K a month, then if you pay off your car, you in essence have a free 6K a month that you can then use to direct towards, your bond and all of that. So I was like, okay, it kind of like makes sense why you would not want to pay off your car like as quickly as possible if you have a bond, like rather tackle the bond. But if you just want to, say the balance on your car is way less than the balance, of course, the chances are it's the case that the balance on your car is way less than the balance on, your mortgage. Then if you want to free up, that 6,000 rands quickly, then you'd rather attack your car first, pay off that thing, and then, put whatever that 6,000 towards your car, towards your mortgage, which will help you like repay your mortgage faster. But the game honestly is in small acts of consistency over time, right? Because it is rare that you might, some people bonus like 2 times a year, other people get a bonus like once a year, for example. So it's rare that you might have this huge additional income coming in, right, over the period of the year. If it's not your bonus, if you get your bonus, that might be like that huge lump sum of money that is coming into your finances and all of that. It's rare that would happen. So in that situation, then it becomes a thing of, okay, cool, let me pay as little as 500 rands towards whatever form of credit that I have to settle. Say for example, you want to attack your credit card, you can literally tell yourself, this month I'm cutting down on takeouts, this month I'm cutting down on going out with friends. I mean, it's cold anyway. Who wants to be outdoors when it's this cold? So snuggle at home, watch YouTube, watch my videos on YouTube, or watch Netflix or whatever. Cut out the small things, make the small sacrifices, and say you owe like 10,000 rands on your credit card, then go ahead and like attack your credit card, say over a period of like 4 months or whatever, right? And then once you're done, you continue, right? It's the whole winter. Winter is such a great time for you to pay your stuff, because who wants to be out at this time? Like honestly, over the weekend, I just want to be at home. I just want to sit at home and be my blankets and like chill. Why would I want to go out, during this time? So it's also a good time to say, let me cut down on, other things. Perhaps you can keep like takeaways and say, I'll have one takeaway, a week, such things. But in terms of me going out like physically to like restaurants and all of that, you can cut down for the whole winter periods. That's 6 months. So after the 3 months, after the 3 months, you should have enough saved up, or enough money that is being directed, additional money that is being directed towards your debts and all of that. And this is where also like making additional income comes in, to say have a hustle that is dedicated specifically to like paying off some of the things that you need to pay off. For example, I started like a new hustle now where I am paying off, where I'm selling socks, right? Winter socks. You guys can see there are home socks, right? So this is also an advert. It's a slash advert. Home socks. Here are the home socks, right? And these are like pretty warm. So these ones are for gents, but ladies can also wear them. So you see here on the inside, they've got like fluffy things as well. So I'm selling these socks right now, right? I'm selling them, instead of selling just like one pair, I've grouped them together. I'm selling 3 pairs together. And you guys must watch out. There'll be an Instagram page that, will have all the details. And I'll just keep sharing as well on my social media. Instagram specifically, it's _mesh. So I'm selling the socks, right? And what I've essentially told myself with the money that I'm getting from the socks is I'm not gonna change my lifestyle. I'm not gonna change like suddenly have an additional entertainment budget or have an additional food budget and all of that. What I'm trying to do is I'm going to continue to live as though I am not getting profit from selling the socks. That's like my strategy. And I'm like, it's so easy to now, because there's additional money coming in, it's called new money. New money is very dangerous because there's an additional, money coming in. It's so easy to then create crisis or create like reasons why you should be using that money, or like reasons why you should be spending that money on something else. So I've told myself, you know what, baby girl, you continue living the same way you were living. Accept that your food budget is now like close to or over 2,000. Accept that. Restructure your current budget. It's a thing of, once you have that additional, form of income coming in, instead of just using that new money as it comes, already have like a set goal to say it's going to attack this line of credit, or it's going to attack this, it's going to attack that. Like, that's how you should be thinking about it, to say, in as much as my salary may not like increase that much, because 5% really was 5% per annum. If it's not going to increase that much, inflation is around 7%. If it's not going to increase that much, then it means financially I am constrained, because things are more expensive, right? Prices have gone up, but one thing that seems to be moving slowly relative to prices is your salary increases and all of that. So we are feeling the pressure. And once you get the new money, make sure that you're very clear as to where the money is going, how things are moving and all of that. But anyways, I think overall, if there's a main takeaway from this video, is the fact that should you save or should you not save? My question to you will be, do you have an emergency fund? If you don't have an emergency fund, then try set up an emergency fund first, right? It doesn't have to be, I know like things are tough, it doesn't have to be your 6 months worth of expenses, but at least have that money that is set aside, to cover at least your 1 month worth of expenses, right? Know that if your expenses are like 20,000 a month, or your expenses are 10,000, your expenses are 5,000, then set aside like 5,000. Put it aside to say, should anything happen, I will go there instead of relying on debt. And once you've established your emergency fund, then you can go straight to say, which one is the most expensive? So that will be the one that's, costing you more with interest rate. Which one has the greatest interest rate? Pay off that, because when interest rates increase, it just means that the balance that you're owing on that particular thing, in as much as you haven't chowed more money from that particular line of credit, you will end up paying more in interest, right? So it's important to just close it off, simply before like your interest rates, before they hike the interest rates again. And that's just, you know, one way. And another way is to now find additional form of income to help you to supplement your mainstream income, and maybe from your business or whatever, to help supplement that mainstream income, you know, to help you to manage, you know, your debts and your finances more efficiently. So say like myself, socks, they're going to pay off this, or this will pay off that. So it's quite important, but the main message: have an emergency fund, and then tackle whatever it is, you know, that is remaining, or whatever you're owing and all of that. But anyways, I hope you found this video very useful. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I love you guys so much. Mwah. I will see you in the next video. Oh, bye.